Hey guys, Maxmc55 here. We are back with more hot takes, and this time it's the YouTube version. So I got way more comments that I thought I was gonna get, so I had to split this video into like 3 videos. So sorry about that, but we're back, and this is the final one for like a long time. So let's get into it. My hot take is the sequel trilogy of the Bayverse, Age of Extinction and The Last Night, has good ideas and that they are ultimately okay but watchable films or movies. This is gonna start a debate 100%. Yeah, I agree. They are watchable films. I like Transformers. I like watching Transformers for Transformers. Even though some of the movies and some of the TV shows are god awful, I can still watch it and enjoy it because I love Transformers. I feel like people are just always forgetting, like, we are Transformers fans. Just watch the Transformers things. I mean, yeah, Last Night and Age of Extinction are bad, but I like Age of Extinction. I have fond memories of it. It has cool action scenes. Last Night's very debatable, but again, I can watch it because I know there will be cool scenes in it when I'm watching the film. And it is, these movies are just, you can just put them in the background and tune yourself out. You don't have to really pay attention. It's just one of those movies. Pablo isn't that bad. He works as Wheeljack character-wise. He just needs to ditch the accent, same with Q. I've grown to like Pablo way more than when I first saw him. I think the toy just does not do that design justice at all. It just looks terrible. But yeah, the design actually does work for Wheeljack. The accent, no, doesn't make sense. I don't know, we even know why he has that. But I even think the head design, it actually suits Wheeljack really good. And same with Q. Like, Wheeljack is the smartest person, or the smartest Cybertronian, and he's a scientist, and you make him base him off Albert Einstein. That just makes sense. Yes, it's an ugly design, but in the context, it makes sense. It's a smart move. But yeah, I feel like people are just constantly saying, because it's not G1, people are going to hate it. And honestly, same for me. First time I saw Pablo, it was in G1. But that was because it was a sequel to Bumblebee, and we already saw what Wheeljack could have looked like, and they instantly removed all of Wheeljack's design. But as a standalone thing, Pablo is amazing. As the Fallen sucks, it's barely good at being an action figure, let alone a transformer. So I'm assuming they meant SS, not as. Um, yeah. I have the Fallen figure, the SS version. I personally really, really like it. I love his scaling. I love the way he actually looks in the paint. He doesn't transform into anything, but so does the other figure. And he doesn't transform in the movie, so why does it matter? He's an alright figure, and he's way better than the original, because he can actually stand. And second, Hunt for the Decepticons is the top 3 line in Transformers history. Prove me wrong. I agree. Honestly, Hunt for the Decepticons, it's just exactly what I want Studio Series to be. You have movie designs, but you're making them fun. You're repaying them into just characters we've never known, or characters we have known, and using different molds to make those characters alive. It's just such a good design. I mean, such a good toy line. But yeah, 100% Decepticons, like, they just had so many cool repaints, and it was just so cool to see them all revealed, and so many to collect as well. It's like, ooh, 100% Decepticons, Trailbreaker, ooh, he's made out of, I don't know, another guy. Yeah, I don't even know if Trailbreaker exists. My hot take is the Transformers Prime designs and Beast Wars designs are better than the Bayverse designs. Yeah, I mean, that's just not even a debate. That's just, yeah. That's just facts, brother. And here we go again with another Wheeljack. Wheeljack Dark and the Moon design Q is a good design for Wheeljack. Yeah, exactly, he is. I mean, it's ugly, but it works. And obviously, I can see by your profile picture that you clearly like him. Bayverse is great. No. Transformers 2007 was a good movie. Roger the Fallen is debatable. Dark of the Moon is pretty alright. And the other two are pretty terrible. So, no, Bayverse is not great. It has many, many flaws. And if don't bring up the opinion that, oh, it made money, just because a movie makes money doesn't make it good. All right, Bayverse is not good. It's not great. Actually, it's not great, but it's good and it's decent. It's not great. Hot take: Soundwave is underused. I agree, 100%. He's always menacing. He's really good character, and then he's just like, He's just there because he's an iconic character. Like, make him do things. Same with Shockwave. Same with Starscream, honestly. I barely see Starscream in anything that much anymore. He's so underutilized. Dark of the Moon is bad until Sentinel's betrayal, then it gets good from there. I sort of disagree because there is fairly cool scenes, and honestly, the human scenes of Dark of the Moon I actually like. Some of the human scenes. Sam again having a giant crash out of the entire movie, that was fun to watch. Like it, I don't think Sentinel's betrayal made the movie good or get better from there. I think it was good from start to finish. Rise of Beast was good, just needed a longer runtime so we could get more Maximals. Agreed. There should have been Michael Bay Bayverse, 2 hours and 30 minutes long, or just remove the Maximals entirely because they didn't deserve that. What was the point of them being there? If you took them out, it would have been an alright movie. Not a hot take, but I need to see Tarn in a movie. Scourge is the best bet of getting Tarn in a movie. I mean, yeah. And then they don't have any more. Lol. Why the you even write that then? Not sure if it's a hot take, but I'm kind of the person who displays movies bots along animated bots. I don't organize based on series. If that doesn't count, I like Series 3 of G1 more than the rest. Display, yeah, that's not a hot take. That's just your personal preference of, displaying. Heck, I put my G1 and Bayverse all together because I don't have any room. So I don't even think it really matters. And G1, Season 3 of G1, no. It was a good thing fans hacked Bay's computer, otherwise we wouldn't have ended with Conehead Megatron. Yeah, that's true, I think, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, I have heard about that, and honestly, I don't mind because we probably would have just gotten used to it. It's only because we didn't get it. I think people are like, not good head design. But yeah, Conehead Megatron design is mid. Parts forming isn't that bad, and I so agree wholeheartedly. I don't know. I feel like we've had this conversation in the last videos. I can't remember if we did, but in case we didn't, parts forming, it's not as bad as people say. If it's well integrated, like if it matters, some like Earthrise Cliffjumper. Although I love that figure, the parts forming doesn't make sense, right? You take an entire piece of the back out and it turns into a quote unquote shield. No, it's just lazy, and that's because the budget and the engineering back then was not that good, and because of COVID. But if you have things like Huffer, who has just weapons that integrate into the vehicle mode, or SS Sentinel with his swords integrating into the vehicle mode, that's parts forming. Those turn to weapons. That's pretty good. But sometimes parts forming can be bad, especially with the SS Sentinel and SS Sideswipe. If you lose those weapons, you have an incomplete ult mode. So it's like parts forming isn't that bad because as long as it gets the job done, it gets the job done. But if you lose those pieces, you've got an incomplete transformer. So it's a really double-edged sword. But yeah, parts forming isn't that bad. People just say, oh, it takes away what transformers are, and it's like, no, your transformer is still transforming. It's just sometimes you need to take a part off to get to the thing you need to get to. Legacy Tarn doesn't look too great. I mean, I don't have him, but he's just too thin. Has the hot rod shoulders, a boring deco, the Cyberverse version kind of fixes that, and can't roll. He doesn't look very fun, not gonna lie. Maybe my opinion will change when I get him, if ever. I disagree. Legacy Tarn is the best Legacy figure out there. Well, Neo Nose is actually pretty good too, but Legacy Tarn is just amazing, especially his repaints. Bludgeon is amazing. I love Bludgeon more than the Tarn. I just think his color scheme's better. But well, let's break this down. Too thin. What? Okay, sure, he's a little bit bulky in the comics, but so the comics can be inaccurate at times. I think he's fine, and people say he's like too thin, but like, what do you want? Did you want kibble on him? Do you want him to have too much back kibble? I don't understand why people keep saying that when he's fine. He's like the most cleanest transformer I've ever seen. Hot rod shoulders. Do you know how many transformers have hot rod shoulders? Trigger Happy has hot rod shoulders, and he's perfect. A boring deco, I disagree. I think the Cyberverse deco is actually worse and is very inaccurate. Tarn's deco is just the comic deco, maybe with a little less gold, but that's it. And then he can't roll. Okay, he's a tank. What do you want him to do? He's a tank, and his tank treads are his like arms. Of course, they're not gonna roll. And yeah, he has fake wheels, but that's so he doesn't scratch any of the paint when you put him down and push him. He's not meant to roll. He's a tank. But maybe my opinion will change if he doesn't look too. He doesn't look very fun. He is the most posable and most dynamic figure I own in my collection, and I own Optus Promenon, okay, or Optus Pexus mold, okay. He's very very good, and I feel like your opinion is coming from perspective ends because I know he hates that figure. So base your opinion on a figure you own, not a figure you don't own. Okay, I just realized that sounds hypocritical of me because I don't own the SS Optimus and Megatron from Transformers 1, but I'm basing my opinions on those because of what I see, not the like both figures look very fun and the transformations look pretty good. I'm just talking about the accuracy of them. The Last Line Megatron is one of Megatron's worst designs. No, I actually think it's really cool. The Gladiator design is amazing, and it's way better than any of the other Bayverse designs, maybe except Dark of the Moon. I do like Dark of the Moon. But yeah, it's actually a pretty peak design. I mean, if you're basing it off all Megatron designs, then yeah, no, it's not as good, but Bayverse, it's peak. G1 Bludgeon is not an interesting design. Get out. SS Rise of Beast Optimus Primal is overhated. I actually think it's overrated. I think it needs more hate. It's not as good, and the Voyager does way better. So yeah. Shockwave does not have Riz. Earthspark is better than RID 2015. Only season 1. I think only season 1 is better. Season 2 and 3 are still good seasons, but again, their quality dropped, and I think the writing, it just went way too kids cartoon. Season 1, it actually was pretty mature from what it was, and then season 2 and 3 was just like, nope, Nickelodeon show, yeah. And then lastly, Rise of Beast RC is not hot. Shut up. Transformers Prime RC is hot, obviously. Prime's characters are stale. I'm assuming you mean Transformers Prime, or do you mean the 13 Primes? Or do you mean all the other Optimus Primes? Or do you mean Prime? Oh boy, here we are. Here's the kicker that started an argument in my comment section, which I will not be adding into this video because I really cannot be bothered. But I don't want to give my opinions on this comment. So TF1 is bad, and that is a fact. And we will get onto that later. But for the engineering quality, the toys are more often than not overpriced. No, I think the engineering's, like the people who are doing the engineering are doing a really, really good job for what what we pay. Sure, some are like, what, but it depends on the design they are trying to emulate. Like Transformers 1 Optimus. How are you supposed to turn a deluxe Transformers 1 Optimus and get the transformation right? It is kind of hard, and that's why we need commander classes. That's why we need HasLabs, because sometimes we need that extra budget to make that figures just amazing. And if you don't like what Hasbro does, third party is an option, people. Like, they have really good engineering and quality. Well, quality sometimes, but engineering is pretty good. But no, I think what we pay is actually pretty good. Just depends on the design they're emulating. And again, Transformers 1 is bad, and as a fact, it's not a fact. That's an opinion. It's not a fact. It's not bad at all. It's the best film we've ever had. And let's get into what he actually, says about TF1. It only looks good because Rise of Beast was so garbage that the TF fans will cling on to anything. It's a bad introduction to both Cybertron and the characters. No. Rise of Beast wasn't garbage. It was actually a really decent movie. It was actually a pretty good movie, especially considering, what we've been having with Bayverse. It wasn't just because Rise of Beast was bad. I don't understand that. I don't understand how that can make another movie bad. They're not the same movie. They're not in the same continuity. Like, it's a completely different film. And a bad introduction to Cybertron and the characters. How? It introduces Cybertron pretty well, with Primus and the 13th Primes, and Iacon and all, the Surface as well. That's a new thing they added. The Surface. That's pretty cool. We never really saw that in like other Transformers media that much. And the characters, the great. That was the best part of the movie, was the characters. Making Orion Pax an MCU hero would be much appreciated. he isn't an MCU hero. What? How is he an MCU hero? Because he cracks some jokes, but it's immature Orion becoming Optimus. So that's just a thing. And Orion Optimus has always been making jokes. Have you watched G1 at all? Everything about the introduction of Cybertron, from them calling themselves Transformers instead of Cybertronians, to the fact they complete. Oh wait, so that is an interesting point because they've called themselves Transformers in the past, in other medias. So, and they do call themselves Cybertronians and Transformers. Now, the way they call themselves Transformers, they're not calling themselves Transformers. They're calling the ones who can transform. The miners who can't transform are calling the higher Cybertronians who can transform Transformers because they can transform. It's just like a word for them to call the higher ups. They don't say like the miners don't say, "Oh, we're Transformers," but they're not because they can't transform. They're the lower class miners, you know. They completely removed all the lore of the original 13 primes. Okay, so who cares? There is no original lore for them, so they can change whatever. This is a different continuity. They can change whatever they want. They made Primus transform into Cybertron like a toy. Okay, Transformers are toys. They've always been toys. It's actually a pretty cool reference. Like, that's just a reference that Cybertron transforms just like the toy. So what if Cybertron transforms? Like, he transforms. It's just a cool reference. How is that making the film bad? And this is barely scratching the surface of everything that's wrong. I don't understand how the points you're bringing up are just all personal preferences and just idiotic, idiotic things. This also comes back to what I said in the previous videos. Transformers Prime and the line continuity shouldn't be like the standout lore. We're not Marvel. We're not DC. We don't have these law that we have to always follow. Transformers is always changing, and that's great. You know, we've seen it in TV shows, comics, movies. They change everything. You know, like if you're like, come on, you're in a fandom where robots change and things change, but you don't like change. That doesn't even make any sense. Like, we shouldn't base everything off one thing and one law and one continuity. Let us grow, let us evolve, let us change, let us have change so we don't get stale and everything doesn't become boring. Let things be different. But anyways, yeah, that was it. That was all the hot takes from YouTube that I commented on. If you sent one before I screenshot everything, sorry that I didn't get your comment in, but I ended it at a certain time because there was going to be too much. Like, look at the length of this video. It would have been too much. So sorry if your comment didn't get in, but your comment, I didn't delete them. So it's still there in the original community post. But yeah, that was it for my 3-part hot take videos, and I'll see you all later in whatever I make next. Bye-bye.